Hi there. Today I'm talking about a subject that has baffled us all. It has been around since the beginning of time, and it will be around as long as humans exist. It's made us question ourselves. It's made us question others. We've actually done it many times. The subject? Lying. And the interpersonal deception theory. The interpersonal deception theory was first introduced by David Buller and Judy Burgon in 1996. And the reason that they decided to explore this particular theory was because all of the other studies that had been completed before then mainly focused on the deceiver, the liar. Very few had focused on the receiver. Therefore, they decided to complete the study. As we all know, communication is not something that's static. It is two-way. It does occur two ways, and their studies investigated exactly how that interaction occurred. What they found was that deception itself requires significantly greater information management on the part of the deceiver. Meaning that when the deceiver tells a lie, he's trying to manage how he's perceived in terms of body language, in terms of tone, in terms of message. But he's also at the same time having to watch the receiver's response to whatever he's just said. And he's also at the same time thinking, what am I going to do, or how am I going to respond based on how that receiver's body language looks, how that receiver's tone, eye movement, everything. So, IDT as they call it, IDT researchers have actually observed several generalized means by which deceivers will verbally manipulate information content, and it includes the messages like clarity. The clarity is very incomplete, it's impersonal, sometimes it's indirect, and sometimes it's even irrelevant. Why is that? Because they're attempting to suppress something. They're attempting to make their message appear more believable to their receivers. They typically shorten the responses while slowing down the conversation, and at the same time, they attempt to suppress the physical movement. The incompleteness part is basically just saying that their subjects or their responses are brief and never really completely answers the full question or whatever the context of the conversation was. They like clarity a lot of times, somewhat ambiguous, because they really don't want to give you any particular depth to the conversation or anything that you can come back to say, well, this is exactly what was said. So they kind of leave it open where there could be more than one interpretation depending on how you feel or how they feel as far as the answer is concerned. As far as the theory is concerned, there were a total of 18 propositions that they summed into two core ideas. And those ideas was first, that lies are judged effective on the basis of the motive. What is the motive? Was it to gain something? Was it to slow a relationship down? Was it to speed a relationship up? Was it to make someone feel good? The second idea that they summed it up into was that a message needs to manage three things. Number one, does it accomplish the task? Number two, it needs to establish and maintain the relationship. And number 3, it needs to save face, quote unquote. It needs to make us look good sometimes. That's a huge reason for lying. The interpersonal deceptive theory also adopted Zuckerman's 4-factor model of deception. It says there are self-adapters, such as blinking, large pupils, speech errors, speech hesitations, higher tones of voice, many differences between verbal and nonverbal communications. So even if I verbally say what I need to say to you, if you watch the physical, then you will better be able to halfway understand I may be telling a lie. When it comes to the statistics, what they have statistically found is that 60% of the times we actually can tell when someone is telling a lie. However, most of us think that we have a greater percentage than that. But we only get it right most times 60% of the time. And of course, there's no reason to really understand or no way to really measure exactly why the lie was told. When it comes to actual lying itself, there was statistically, they said that it was pretty much in the range of a 50-50 as far as the body of research suggests that receivers attempt to detect the deception. So not all the time do we actually even attempt to detect the deception. But when we do, 60% of the time we get it right. So, in the end, thank you so much, and I hope that I have shared the interpersonal deception theory with you, and that you have a greater understanding of it, and that you can better know the next time that you think someone is lying that maybe you've gotten it wrong. 60%, remember? Thank you.